to interact with a bot, user whatever, a web application or a mobile application. In the middle, there is another Azure services, which is an Azure App Service, and this is used to host an application. You can host web applications in here. You can host web APIs. This is a pretty cool service where you are responsible of deploying your application and managing a partial part of the infrastructure. Working together with those services, you can deploy in your web application an Azure bot service and interact with the user using that particular bot service. From here, you can actually make a huge extension of the bot service because, as you can see, you can insert into the bot a service language understanding. So when the user types something, he doesn't have to give robotic instruction like open something or do something. This is not actually not a pretty natural. So you can ask him, okay, I need to do this kind of thing. I need to retrieve this kind of information. I would like to know where is the next gap body, stuff like that. You can ask him in a natural way, and the language understanding service is going to provide you this kind of solution. But also, we don't want just bots that answer questions. We want something a little bit more fancy. So what if you want to provide photos, like for example, or images? So have you ever seen, for example, in Nike store or the Adidas store that right now you can use a photo of a particular shoe and find out which store is actually this one located? Haven't anyone seen that implementation? Take a look into one of the American United States website. You can take a photo of those shoes, and I can go, oh, Alejo, these are pretty cool shoes. Can I take a photo? And I can take a photo of those shoes, and I will be able to know in which part of my city or the close vicinity those shoes are available for me. A pretty kind of thing so that you can use. Or you can use, for example, forms in order to extract information and try to retrieve the information related to that document. So that's what we have in item number 2 and number 3. But of course, we want our bot to be more smart. So I can train it with my unique data, give it a particular instruction. But if I want my bot to be smarter and being able to expand the search that I given, guess what? Bing. The internet, he will be able to use a search using Bing. He will be able to make searches using the web assistant as well. And he will be able to provide information using the custom search. So this kind of thing can integrate inside your bot, and that will allow the bot to extend outside of the scope that you are initially given. So make it a solution pretty strong in this case. And as you can see, everything is pretty simple to achieve because you are not making anything too fancy here. So you have a web application is exposed throughout the internet using one of the Azure services, and from there you exploit the other services to make your solution smart. The cool thing, you don't need to know anything about machine learning. You only need to be a developer. You need to know how to use SDK. And one of the other things, we have a bunch of options to choose for an SDK. We can go from Java, .NET, we can choose Python. There is a bunch of options. If you are working in a language that doesn't have the SDK, you can use HTTP requests. So everything is available through our API. So you don't have an excuse to integrate this into your application. Another example that integrates pretty well in this case is with the OpenAI service in order to process postcard audio files. So the user in step number 1 is going to upload a podcast on an MP3, an audio file throughout a static web application, and this one is going to interact directly using a REST protocol with a HTTP trigger that is located into the Azure function. So as you can see, we are only exposing a web application, and from there we are making a request to an Azure function in this case. So we have a very common Azure services in here. From here, the HTTP function is going to be able to store the image in the Azure container in the step at the bottom. So it's making a request to another Azure service. In case you are not so familiar, the storage account, as everything as it sounds, is going to provide you a storage solution that you can manage by yourself. It is not a hard drive, just to mention that, but you will be able to store blobs or meaning files into this particular site and organizing into particular folders, provide individual security for each one of the folders. You can make a lot of good things in here. When you insert a file into a blob storage account, you can integrate that particular storage account with another Azure function. In this case, as you see at the beginning of step number 4, we have another Azure function in here that is going to be triggered by a blob. So when the upload happens and the file is being sent to to the Azure store, and mostly we could call it automatically. An Azure function is going to be triggered by itself, and it's going to receive that particular blob information. From here, it starts the AI integration. We integrate with Azure AI services, specifically in this case, speech to text. So the Azure function is going to make a request to the speech to text, sending the video or the audio file in this. In this case, he is going to extract the information from the audio file, and then again is going to store this particular result into another storage account. This is the transcription one. Once more, we will have a request that is going to go to another Azure function, then again having a blob trigger. He is going to be taking that particular generated file, and he is going to use another service in order to generate things like a synopsis, tagline, and SEO keywords, will allow you to use this text to make a expand operation. Based on that, you can send all the summarized information plus the transcript to services like OpenAI GPT, and you can create a solution that can answer questions or provide information based on that particular podcast. So then again, there are a bunch of integration of services in here, but as you can see, it is nothing that it goes out of the ordinary. Tools provided by the Azure side, like Azure Functions, solutions provided by Azure, like the storage account, and we integrated with the also AI services, the speech to text, and the Azure OpenAI to retrieve these kind of things. Just development coverage in this case. Another good example will be the search and query and an enterprise knowledge base by using the Azure OpenAI or Azure AI search embedding. This is a pretty good example because you will have options in order to fix your problem. So let's suppose that you want to use OpenAI, or if maybe you don't have access to OpenAI, you can choose to use Azure AI services. So as you can see, Azure have a contrast of services that offer pretty similar solution with different types of integrations. Let's take a quick example into this one. So we have a storage account that is going to be holding the amount of data that we require to have. And in the middle, we are going to have one or multiple function apps that are going to get that particular text into the application, and they are going to provide like a translation. This is an optional step, but it can be done. You can use the AI document intelligence in order to extract particular or important information for those documents that are located into the storage account. And for the step number 4, you can use the OpenAI embedding model in order to extract the information. In case you are not so familiar with AI, embedding is a part of a process that happens when you are working with text, where you can extract text and convert that text into something that is meaningful for a system. So a computer will be not able to understand a word, as an example, but if you give a particular index or a number to that particular word, it's going to be pretty meaningful to the computer, because the computer works in numbers and he loves math. So this is one of the things that embeddings provide in this case. You can then start providing solution in the step number 5, in the step at the right, in the step number 5, then again. And this is going to provide a pretty similar solution in here. The user can make a query to the application using an Azure App Service. From here, the information is going to be taken from the user. Here's at the moment where the user make requests to the bot with the embeddings that we extract previously. We use the OpenAI in step number 4 on the right in order to translate the prompt from the user. We use an algorithm that is known as the top K matching content, which is to match the content that match more with the input from the user. And then again, we go to the math side from the computer perspective, and everything is provided to a vectorized query that the computer can easily understand. Using the OpenAI embedding model, we can go then again to the Redis cluster and query that Redis cluster in order to extract the minimal information from the Azure side. So as you can see, we have both ways to integrate services and provide better solution, and actually make it work together in order to provide good solutions. So like I was saying, the previous example could be fixed in several ways that will depend on the solution that we would like to provide and the approach that you would like to take in this case. This is a pull operation in this case, where the user submit a query to the application. We create the prompt pretty similar to the steps that we spoke of previously, and we use the language model from OpenAI in order to make that query more efficient. From here, we can go to other services like, for example, the cognitive search, and you can provide a solution from that text. If the text is provided in a different language than the original one, we could use the AI translator to provide that one. And after that, we can use the AI document intelligence in order to use that information to extract information from the minimal user. Or we can go left to right where we can pull information from the storage account and make the whole process all together. Here, very similar solution where instead of the application checking for new information, a file is actually pushed into the system. But as you can see, it goes the same route. We have an Azure App Services receiving the file. We provide translations in this case. We use the Open Intelligence to extract information on the left side, and we use the cognitive search in order to make that information meaningful. On the right, we have the user requesting queries to the application. We call the language model. We translate that prompt into something meaningful to the system. And from here, we can use the cognitive search in order to extract information based on the user prompt and the information that has been extracted from the files previously. This is a great example for enterprises where they want to build a landing sign where, for example, the employees or the client can interact with a system. So instead of going manually throughout the documents, you can ask him to find meaningful information inside that particular website. So it's pretty popular nowadays with big corporations especially. Well, and one of the coolest examples also is in order to analyze video content with computer vision and Azure Machine Learning. This one, as the name suggests, we provide a video file going from the left to the right. The video file is being stored in a storage account into the step number 1. And in here, we have a more specific solution. We provide a more advanced developer or a machine learning engineer with the right tools in order to write more custom code. In here, we have the Azure Machine Learning. If maybe you were present on the topic that I spoke a few months ago, Azure Machine Learning will allow you to build custom models in a very efficient way. And you can use Jupyter notebooks. This is pretty coolly integrated with languages like Python. So you can use a tool like Terraform and PyTorch in order to extract information from valuable system and build custom models. When you use the Azure Machine Learning at the end, whatever methodology you choose from, you expose something that is known as the inference cluster. So this cluster is going to be used after that in order to extract minimal information or do classification of the information that you are providing. So as you can see, in step number 3, we go and get that particular video and we extract the picture from the video. At the end, a video is a collection of images, so we extract the images from here and we store those images into an Azure Data Lake storage. This is an extension of the storage account, but as the name suggests, it's an extension of the Data Lake service into the Azure side. This is mostly think for a big query or machine learning operations in this case, because it allows you to move data between the services pretty fast in a very huge throughput efficiency. So from here, we can integrate services like Logic Apps, in this case, to access the Custom Vision API and the Computer Vision API in order to extract meaningful information from those images that were extracted in image number 4. In this case, since we are analyzing the content of the video, we are trying to find meaningful information inside those images. So all the resulting information from those images is going to be stored in a JSON file. We are going to send it to Azure Synapse Analytics in order to build analytics from this system, as the name suggested. And you will be able to build queries and intelligence based on the output of that data, and you can set that information to Power BI to present it in a more meaningful way, like using graphs or reports or something similar. So as you can see, things go from very technical into a more presentative way. So as a developer, you will be pretty interested to interact with the Custom Vision API, check the responses, but for someone that is in the business side, or someone that is not a technical person, is going to be interested in the report, and you can expose it via services like Power BI. And then again, everything happens into the Azure ecosystem. All these services are available in the Azure portal. Well, and also we could have a recommendation real-time API on Azure, where the user are giving like ratings to the application. So when you go into an hotel and you go into a restaurant, sometimes you feel pretty keen to leave an observation in the website. Sometimes it's going to be a happy one because you love the hotel, because you love the movie that you saw, because you love the food that you got. Or maybe quite the contrary, you hated the food that they gave you. Maybe it was actually cold, or maybe when you arrived to the hotel, the room was so dirty. Maybe, and in this case, the experience wasn't so good. At any rate, the user provide this kind of ratings of something in particular, and we can store those ratings into the Azure storage account. We can integrate it all together with an extra service. In this case, is Azure Databricks. Azure Databricks is a system that allows you to build custom system in order to extract meaningful information from different data sources. You can integrate multiple databases. You can integrate multiple resources like a storage account, send that information to Databricks, and make massive analysis on that data. Azure Databricks can extract the information and send the result for that information into database like Cosmos DB. From Cosmos DB, in here we could have an Azure Machine Learning service that also is going to be receiving that particular information, and we can use the Kubernetes service in order to expose a model based on all this information in order to provide an output to the end user. So the output of this kind of system is based on in what you are looking for. You can provide recommendations based on the input of other users. So if other people speaks pretty well of a hotel, maybe I will feel more keen in order to go to that hotel, or maybe when I'm trying to get a particular experience, this kind of system will allow me to find that adjust most to my expectancies. Then again, pure Azure services, everything in this case. So we are going to see more real-time demos in here. They are pretty quick for individual services, but it allows us to explore some of the things that the Azure side has to offer. So no questions time yet. 1 second. So we are going to initially explore the Vision Studio. Both things that I'm going to show you from the demos, some of them are actually free, but not all of them. In some of the cases, you will have to provide some configuration in order to be able to explore these tools. But in case you want to explore them, I encourage you, because as you can see on the pop-up of the top of the right, if this is the first time that you are using those services, they are going to give you $200 in order to explore those services. So take those $200 and make them work. So unless you build something pretty fancy, those $200 could easily be around for you for a couple of months. So feel free to log into the portal.vision.community.azure.com website and join for the first time and start exploring these options. Okay, so let's see a couple of quick, very cool examples. So I'm going to show you one of the example that I exposed previously in here. So we are going to explore in real time a video. So take a look into this particular video. Let's imagine this is a camera feed that is happening in real time from a store. So let's suppose that I ask him where was a coffee spilled into the video. So take a look. I'm going to ask him for coffee on the floor, and I'm going to ask, okay, search that one. So as you can see, the AI services is going to analyze the whole video from beginning to the end. In this case, it's a video, but this could happen easily in real time. And I ask him to check for coffee on the floor. So if we start checking the timestamp that he gave us, we can see there is a coffee on the floor. A user previously was walking throughout the aisles of the store, and he capped the bottle by mistake. And guess what? He decides to run. So he left the spillover in there. And as you can see, it's given like a timestamp where this event happening several times. So we have this spillover in here. We got words throughout the time. So this gives a cool solution. So let's suppose we would like to see a woman falling into the video. Do not laugh. I will know who is evil in here. So as you can see, we have a summary when this person has an accident at the video. So let's take a look into the timestamp. So that woman is walking throughout the aisle and she's going to encounter the coffee spill. So as you can see, the AI services analyze the video and can find this information pretty easily. Well, that was overacted, but that's okay. And now let's suppose this security issue. Let's suppose that a person goes into a particular store and maybe he's stealing things, but you manage to identify a couple of things like what that person is actually wearing. In this case, I'm going to ask him to look for a person that is wearing a pink jacket. So then again, it's going to give us the timestamp, and you can see if we play the video in several timestamps, we will have this person that is wearing a pink hoodie walking throughout the store. So let's take a look into some of the timestamp. You can see that person is actually at the bottom of the video. So even if the video has a good depth into it, the Azure services, so in this case, the video analyzer can provide huge details. And when she's close by, it can actually also identify that person pretty cool, pretty easily. And well, this is actually using some custom queries, but you can also type a set of queries in here. So let's see. Let's say we want to find let's see, a person with a white clothing. One sec. Let me refresh this. Let's see if we manage to match something in here. So as you can see, it says at minute 4:30, we have a location of a person wearing a white shirt in this case. So you can see on the left, is actually able to locate that person. And we have also the timestamp. So this is a good example of the video analyzer. Okay. So let's take a look into another one. Let's suppose that you want to add captions to a particular set of images. In the past, it was actually, let's say, pretty boring because someone has to go to the image manually and start creating those tags. Now AI can make those kind of things almost in real time. So let's choose, let's say, this one. So as you can see, he detected this is a baseball player holding a bat. But if you go into a more developer experience, you can see that we have a confidence of 82%. That is actually a person playing baseball in this case. So he's able to provide a description based on a particular image. So if we try this one, it says there is a man holding a surfboard on a rock. Or if we go with another example, let's say this one, a sandwich cut in half. So as you can see, it's providing human descriptions to image without any major interaction with any user. The AI has the capability to do this kind of things by itself. This kind of solution is provided by the Vision API into the Azure side. So detection of image as another good example in here. We can use it in order to extract faces from a particular photo. So as you can see, the AI was able to detect a face into one particular image, and it can give custom details. As an example, this one, this was pretty helpful to detect if a person has a face mask in this case. Of course, this was pretty important throughout the COVID, and after COVID, it was actually a good implementation for security. Maybe today is very valuable for hospitals or medical industry, but this is just an example of a custom solution. Another great example of this kind of things, let's suppose on the working industry, when they are making buildings and everything. So you can detect if an employee is wearing his hard hat, he's wearing the proper gloves, he's actually wearing these kind of things. In this case, in the face detection, we can detect that kind of things. You have the proper face protection, the glasses, the hard hat, or maybe a breather if it is needed, as a pretty good example. And of course, are pretty quick examples, but as you can see, it can detect multiple faces into into a particular image. It's not a constraint to a single image or anything like that. It could detect multiple faces into the given input. Another great example that is pretty helpful today for people that works into the graphic design or the industry that makes designs, we could call it, is the background extraction. So one of the most cumbersome tasks that people that usually work with Photoshop or similar to it was actually to remove the background. Because if you're not so familiar with these kind of things, people has to use a particular tool and they have to build a very precise part using the mouse or maybe a pen or something similar, but it's very exhausting to do it manually. Now AI, of course, is here to the rescue once more. And as you can see, we can provide an image in here and it's going to extract the background. So the AI has the capability to detect the objects of interest into a particular image. In this case, he detects the background is everything on the back. That is, in this case, the trees and the grass and everything, and the object of interest in this case is the people in the photo. If you try to use it like in a landscape, it's going to also to detect what is the person of interest. But as you can see, this is a fully background image, so you need to be very careful with the solution that you provide. In this case, there is no object of interest. In this case, this is a plain background. So be wise to use these kind of tools. Let's see with the elephant. So it's properly extracted. Remove everything from here. And also we have this part that is actually pretty cool and is returned by the service by itself. So as you can see, this is like a silhouette or the object that is extracted, and this also is pretty useful for graphic design and the industry that like makes newspapers, magazines, and stuff like that. So let's say, for example, also the common objects into a particular image. This is also a pretty keen service as well. So let me show you. So let's choose this one. So as you can see, he's actually going to detect not only individual objects, but he's going to give a summary of the kind of things that is detected into the image. He's seen, for example, that people is wearing footwear. There are persons in this image. There is a laptop. They are sitting. There is a table, and it gives you also a confidence on how confident there is this particular thing or object in this case. If we increase the threshold of analysis, it is going to provide also only the things that match the kind of precision that is up to the development requirements. So as you can see, can detect objects pretty easily into an image. Well, let me show you the liveness detection before moving to the other side of services. One sec. The camera is busy. Okay, well, with the camera open, it is going to be slightly difficult, but I encourage you to take this one. It's going to make a live detection of faces pretty similar to what we already saw previously. But of course, like I mentioned before, not everything is about image analysis. There is another set of tools that can be used into the Azure side. So then again, I encourage you to go to the ai.azure.com and log in with the Azure account and also take advantage of the free credits that you can use in these services. For this one, for this demo, you will need an Azure account. In this case, it's mandatory to have one and create a couple of resources that might incur in charges. So try to get the $200. If you're using an account that doesn't have the support anymore for that one, be very mindful and careful with the billing side. So we can use these kind of things like the generative AI in order to provide a speech solution. So I'm going to give you a quick demo, real time to speech to text. So I'm going to record myself, and as you can see, it's going to provide a translation in real time. Okay, so as you can see, while I keep speaking by myself, the Azure tool is going to provide a translations for the speech that I'm causing here. This is bad. One sec. Okay. So let's give it a try once more. Okay, let's see. It's already recording. Let me see. Let's see, it's actually grabbing the text. Let's see, testing the audio test. Okay, I don't know what is happening today in here. My apologies for that. But the real-time speech to text that is going to provide in here, what I was speaking is was going to provide a translation here into the text panel, and what is going to provide the speech in this case in real time. There is another great example in here that we can, for example, try to analyze a particular test. So he also is going to ask me to read a particular test, and he's going to tell me like how good I am doing in pronunciation, how good I am trying to make an accuracy score when I'm trying to talk, but how fluent I am in this case. So since we already have the result, in order not to lose it, previously I make a read of this test that you can see in here, and after that he gave me a feedback of the results that I have. So in this case, he's tell me how accurate I was while reading the test, how good what I was to complete the test, how fluent I am, and how procedure score do I have. So as you guess, this is actually pretty useful in order to provide solution to learn another language. And of course, it's not only in English; it's actually available in several languages. Okay, let's see if the voice gallery works in this case. I hope it does. Well, I am not sure if everyone was able to hear. Did you guys hear anything? No? Okay, sorry for that. But what actually we're hearing in here was a person speaking in this case in Chinese, and it was actually a bot using the voice gallery. So you can provide a phone solution for this particular case, a custom attention to the end user answering question using a voice. This is a set of example, and you can see there is a bunch of options that you can choose in here. Different languages, different type of voices. So if you want to use a male or a female voice in this case, or whatever you would like to choose one particular language, use a neutral voice. That's up to you. It's actually everything is available in here into the Azure AI size services. So also we have the vision and document example as well. Let me show you in here for the we are in the language translator. So as you already guessed, we can provide translations for in this case for documents. We can detect one particular language in the input in this case, and he's going to provide an example in this case in order to make it work. So one sec. I'm going to upload this file. Well, I'm not sure what is taking the, let me see, translate. Okay. So as you can see, I provided an input document in this case, and I asked him to make a translation into the Chinese traditionally. It actually worked pretty well. So if I retrieve this file and I take a sneak peek into the document, we will be able to see that the document has been translated to the target language. So yeah, I'm going to get this is properly translated unless anyone knows Chinese. But well, as you can see, this actually breaks a boundary between communication because you could build a document in Spanish, in English, whatever is your source language, and you can exchange that same document to several people in several languages using these kind of tools. So, and if you saw, let me dial back up pretty quickly in here. You can do the same kind of things into PowerPoint, text files, big text files in this case, and PDF documents and a different type of services, or you can extract PI information for like a document, like I spoke previously. Like for example, you have a NDA, and you can extract the information from it. So as you can see, it's extracted like an important date, which organization signed this NDA, who is the person associated with the, what is the address. Well, a lot of important information that is categorized as PII. You can use it in this kind of tools. Or maybe one of those favorites is actually the summarized information. Let's say you don't have the time or you don't want to read all this text all together. You can use these kind of tools in order to provide very um, extracted summary. So as you can see, we have the full text at the left, and we have an executed extracted summary in this case. So it's going to tell you that at any moment there is going to be a turnaround between coordinators in the German airlines and etc. So as you can see, you will get a feedback or an output of the what the document is trying to say in a very short response. Okay, let's take a look into the content safety. This is actually pretty great service too. So let's say we would like to moderate tests in this case. So we want to make take into let's say violent content with misspelling. So let's take a look. So the dog was given euthanasia injection due to the several leg bleeding profusely from deep laceration to lower extremities, exposing tissue and nerve. That doesn't sound pretty cool. So let's run the test in this case to see what it says about the text. It could be in this case, one sec. Okay, this is pretty odd. But well, then again, it's failing for no reason. So what it's going to give us is actually going to tell us that this kind of content is not for everyone. So it should be taken with careful, because if someone loves a lot of dogs and try to read this kind of thing, it could be a hard test to risk. So it could be considered a hard content. So let's see, we have for the image side, let's suppose that we would like to check if an image have sexual content. No worries, nothing is going to be shown in here. This is actually blurred just for the purposes of this demo. So this is an image that contains sexual content in this case that has been generated by AI. Well, then again, Sally is actually failing, but when we execute the test and work as expected, it's going to tell us yes, the real image, because it's cropping here and is blurred for the protection of the presentation on the website. Well, the real image that run into the background is full have sexual content, and it's going to categorize it as a harm. So if you want to avoid people uploading this kind of content into your website and expose it maybe to other users, this kind of tools provide a great set of solution in this case for content moderation. And as you can see, you can even have prompt shields. This is when the user types something and maybe he tries to write profanities or request information that is forbidden, or maybe a little bit of out of context sexual stuff, or maybe violence and stuff like that. It is going to be able to clean up and detect this kind of prompts from the end user and block the prompt to go to maybe more sensitive ways. In the same thing, we can use a document in order to identify those kind of things and avoid documents with hurtful information to being sent through to the system. Well, in let's say more open example, just to give a summary here. If you are a developer, or maybe you are more like inclined into building your own code, you will be able to deploy models by yourself, train those models manually using tech stack like TensorFlow, PyTorch, or similar frameworks to build this kind of solution, prepare your data by yourself. The Azure AI Studio will also allow you to do these kind of things. Also, as you can see, you can build, for example, assistants using the OpenAI service, GPT models in this case, or integrate even with external resources in order to provide solution. For example, Nixla in this case, as you can see, it provides a solution to make real cash forest forecasting. In case you're not familiar with what forecasting it is, and when you want to predict let's say in a way something that is going to happen in a time window, so you can make questions of maybe the market is going to crash in the next hour, maybe this stock is going to be up or down in the next hour. You can do these kind of things, of course, with the risk of not being so precise. So be careful. Or you can predict, for example, how probable is going to be maybe in the next hour in this particular avenue there is going to be a car accident. So based on the historic and the information that the system is given, maybe you can know if maybe an accident could happen because maybe the lights are broken, maybe something is not working as expected, maybe there is a huge hole in the middle of the street forcing people to make a dangerous maneuver. So kind of things will help you out to estimate down windows. So you can integrate with third parties to make forecasting and things like that, or even integrate more deep in solutions for AI. Well, this is a huge world. I tried to summarize and give you a quick example of pretty cool services, are the more popular ones. But I fully encourage you to go to the Azure portal, explore this with the $200 both tools, the custom vision and the AI Azure services, and learn more of these kind of things. And don't worry, you don't have to be a .NET developer. If you have any other language, feel free to also to explore it, and you will be able to reach the same results. Okay, now it's time for some questions. So I would like to take a look into the chat. We have one.
Yeah, we have two questions. One by Jorge. He asked, "Is this changed by token or by request?" He asked that when you were showing like the remove background in the Azure site.
So when you make a request into the Azure portal, you are going to be billed, of course, for the traffic that you send to the Azure site. So anything that goes through the application into the Azure site, you're going to be charged for that networking. Everything that goes throughout the networking is going to be charged. From there, you are going to be charged by request. So each one of the requests that you make to the system is going to be adding up to your billing. So for each one amount of requests that you make, I don't have right now the memory, the exact number of requests, but the more requests you make to the system throughout the month, the cheaper it's going to be for you. They make this discounts for you. In the case of text, this is pretty important in this question. When you are processing text, you are charged for the amount of tokens that you are sending throughout the request. So it's a mix of two things. When you are working with images and stuff like that, you are going to be charged to the egress traffic that you send throughout the Azure portal, and at the same time, you are going to be also charged for the prediction or the usage of the model. When working with text, you are going to be also charged by the amount of tokens that you send through to the request.
And I guess you can read the second one because it's a little bit longer.
Okay, so we have another question from Cesar. What happens with the data processed with these services? Microsoft keeping the data for unknown purposes? We are in total control of the meaning. Okay, so yeah, Azure is fully compliant with the security protocols that have been established internationally and for each one of the countries that you locate your data. So all your data is going to be protected and is not going to be accessible by anyone. So one of the greatest things that integrate Azure and OpenAI as an example is that the Azure guarantees that none of your information is going to be exposed to external third parties, or the system is going to use that information to provide information to other people. So all the data that you have in rest, in transit, and you use to train your model is fully protected by the Azure portal for the international laws. And also, if that particular country where you host your application have a set of laws, Azure is 100% compliant with those laws of data protection.
All right. Thank you so much, Santiago, for all the knowledge you share with us today. And thank you, Gapsters, for attending this talk. Remember that Santiago will be also speaking in the .NET YouTube channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. Colombia time. I'm going to share with you the link for you to register, and also the link for you to give us feedback on this talk, because we want to keep improving for you guys. And that's it from our side. Thank you so much, Santiago, again, and see you in the next one.
Thank you everyone for attending. Have a good one.